Has anyone heard of campaign finance laws? Thank you. We like those boos. Campaign finance laws, they're supposed to get big money out of politics, supposed to let the little guy speak, because big is bad, money is bad, and all that. Let me tell you what these campaign finance laws do. They stifle speech. They prevent people from expressing themselves when it comes time for election. They skew the playing field, and if you're politically powerful, you get exemptions. If you're politically powerful, the rules don't hurt you very much. If you're politically weak, you get screwed. And you see that all the time. Colorado, we had an initiative process that was written by certain people to get the support of different interest groups. You see it in Washington, D.C., where there's horse trading. They need another vote. Well, they'll exempt this type of group, so that type of group will give their support so they can get another vote. This stuff is bad, bad, bad. But I'm here to tell you, in 2002, Colorado voters passed campaign finance, quote, reform by about 66% to 33, 34%. So I'm going to challenge all of you in one instance, because most people don't pay attention to this stuff. Most people take political liberty for granted. Most people take economic liberty for granted, or they don't care about it. I hope that you all will think about this stuff when it comes to political liberty, and when it comes time to speaking out in favor of freedom for elections, to let people talk. And let me tell you, if someone has a really loud voice, they've got a lot of money, what's the remedy for that? The remedy isn't to stifle that speech. The remedy is more speech, more freedom, so that people can talk and debate these issues. And sometimes, the American people, in my view, go in the wrong direction. But as Winston Churchill said, the American people always get it right. Always. After exhausting every other possibility first.
I guess that's what we're doing these days.
Yeah, so right now we're exhausting a few possibilities, but we'll get it right. And the reason we get it right is because we do have free speech. So this is a campaign that's like one person against another. Right now there's a Democrat in charge. It's the first time we've had a Democrat in the Secretary of State's office for about 2 decades. So I think we've had pretty good elections here in Colorado because we've had solid Republicans minding the store. The current Democrat in there, his qualifications are that he lost an election because he voted for a lot of tax increases, and the folks in the Western Slope didn't like that. So he got voted out of office, and Bill Ritter appointed him currently. He has a long history of being against economic freedom, raising taxes, increasing regulations. And he's got a history of being against political liberty at the same time. The initiative process that we have here in Colorado, the unions and their cohorts and some big businesses, when big labor and big business gets together, it's a bad thing. Well, they got together and they passed a couple laws that make it far more difficult to get the initiative on the ballot, to prevent people from speaking out and getting their own initiatives on the ballot. And he supported that. He's pretty much supported all of the bad ideas that have come out. He's either supported or hidden and stayed silent on some of the bad ideas that have come out. And this next year, from what I hear, one of the main pushes from the governor's office is going to be same-day voter registration, which is just full of fraud and criminal activity. In fact, Milwaukee, they did a study on it, and it was really bad. So that's the other guy. So me. I can start that I was, born in the log cabin I helped my father build. But actually, you're supposed to get that one. So I'm originally from Illinois. I've been out here for about 13 years. And I'm an attorney. So I started my career as a federal prosecutor with the Department of Justice. I did some terrorism and violent crime stuff before it became really a major issue on the landscape here. And I managed a couple companies. I served as an Army reservist for 16 years and went overseas. And my main qualification for Secretary of State's office is I've spent the last 8.5, almost 9 years as an election law attorney. So my focus is elections and election law, and that's sort of what I've devoted myself to. A lot of these stories here, the ones from Colorado, those were my cases. Those were the things that I've done, and I've fought those fights, and I've been in the court doing that. I've represented candidates and ballot issues and all kinds of things. This last election, I was, the attorney for the right to work and for the anti-discrimination ballot initiative. So I really believe in that process. So in my practice, I have represented candidates anywhere from the county level up to the U.S. president. And in fact, in 2004, I represented not one, but 2 U.S. presidential candidates. I represented Walt Brown, Socialist Party USA candidate. And I got him on the ballot. And I also represented Ralph Nader. When the Democrats tried to kick him off the ballot, I was in court, and I kept him on the ballot in 2004. And I joke, and I say that's because I believe every socialist in Colorado should have at least 2 choices for president. Although with the Democrats, I guess I should say 3 choices for president. Yes. But let me tell you something. I'll just sort of conclude a little bit. My views are completely antithetical to theirs. But I was honored. I was honored to be able to represent those guys, even though our political views differ. And here's why. They believed they should have a voice in the process. They believed they should be on the ballot. They believed that their supporters should have the right to vote for them. And that the political speech and the debate were critically important. They knew they weren't going to win. But they were there to make a statement, and they deserved to be able to do that. And they deserved to participate in that process. And I was honored to help them do that, because they believed in open elections, they believed in open debate, and they believed in freedom of speech and freedom of ideas. That's why I'm running for Secretary of State. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're conservative or liberal, if you believe in liberty or oppression, okay? If you're a Republican or Democrat. Everyone has the right to free speech. Everyone has the right to open ballot access. And everyone has the right to be treated fairly in our election process. So that's why I'm running. That's why I hope I'll get everyone's support in here, although I know you're a nonpartisan organization. But I do ask folks for support. And yes, we do have a fundraiser with lots of beer. Guinness beer. With a recommended, what was it, $1,000 donation? With a recommended $20 donation on September 12th. So it's just about a mile and a half from here. So if you can make it, that would be great. I am happy to answer questions, and I really want to thank you for inviting me here and for listening to my comments. So.